In 2018, Hubtel went from 3 million USD annual revenue to today we are talking well over 62 million USD. What part have you played, Hans, in trying to make sure the company realizes such amazing profits, revenue?
Well, the first answer is it isn't very far at all, because we have so much further to go. It is because it's setting expectations what can be done.
Okay.
And so it never ends, right? So where we've gotten to somewhere, and my role in that is, setting expectations and then helping build the skill set, the governance, and being supportive in terms of guiding, but not setting strategy, helping, but not. I'm not the author. I'm the one that you bounce ideas off,
right?
And sometimes guiding in terms of stopping bad things from happening.
So if I take you all the way back to your relationship with the company as a whole, how did you get involved in relating with Alex and Ernest from the early beginning?
So I was a business coach at Stanford Seed. Okay. After engineering, I did a few different jobs, and then I got involved at Stanford Business School, and Stanford Seed is under Stanford Business School. And that's how I got into Silicon Valley and worked in the Valley over a number of years. So that's my background in a nutshell. Now, at Stanford Seed, we were matched up with different companies. And the specific story about Alex speaking up the first time in class is what made me want to work with him. And that was, the professor said that business is all about making money. And Alex raised his hand and said, I disagree. And what he continues to say, that business is about adding value and with innovation so that you do it better and faster, whatever, right? And making money is the outcome. And I thought for myself, I wish I had said that. and when we started talking, right, and that sort of was the beginning of, and then I understood more about the business, and so it wasn't a business-based engagement.
Right, interaction in the beginning, right.
Well, some of the coaches, I was probably one of the more qualified to look after tech businesses. So that's kind of as a natural that it would be one of me. Right?
I see. I've heard conversations around times where the company, Hubtel, approached certain investment, firms to try to get investment. At that time, were you still involved in the business?
Yeah, I was. It was early on, and I was advising them against it.
Okay.
For a number of reasons, they didn't need the money. So why raise money if you don't need it? And with external money comes a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and quite a lot of cases in this environment where people have gone sort of from being a pretty decent opportunity to money destroying it. And without getting into specific examples, right? And they also had quite a lot of thinking to do to chart a direction that would be worth your money in any case.
But I mean, did you really understand the direction the company had for the investment they would have received?
No.
Right.
There's a short answer, no. And the investors, subsequently when I talked to them, I realized they didn't either. And they had, like so many investors, they thought they knew better, right? They thought their direction was better. And it had been one of those situations where investors had driven the company in a direction that may not be the right one.
The company went from, the days where it was called SMSGH, and then, it sort of plateaued, then it dropped a bit, and, the team were looking for innovative ideas to try to, bring the business back up again. But Where were you in that journey? Like, when did you start with Hubtel as a coach?
I was right in the middle of that, because when they had started the journey into payment and payment services before I got involved, but it was primarily a messaging company, right?
Yes.
And doing very well like that, and very well managed, and it was a brilliantly well executed business, right? But the migration to dealing with other people's money was problematic in the sense of the systems and the processes. You know, if you send a message, it doesn't arrive, it's not good. If you take someone's money, it doesn't arrive, it's a disaster.
That's even worse.
Yeah, it's a disaster, right? So, so that is not the pivot. That's a massive change, right? Although the customers were largely the same.
Okay.
Largely the same, right?
But what was the major problems with transitioning to the payment services?
Where do I start? Part of it was not being fully aware of the complexities that are involved, right?
Was that something that any member of the team had done before, either through previous experience or?
That's also part of it, right? No one has done this before, but to a degree, no one had done mobile money before in the world, right?
That's true.
To a degree, right? So there wasn't a lot of places to learn from, right? And so it was a lot of good talent, but not the skills to execute. There's a secondary problem that goes with the business, regardless what the business was going to do, right? There was a managerial skill set was inadequate, right? And had to be built. And unlike in other countries, right? If you go and hire some people in London, right, you get people with experiences from other places that is somewhat relevant, and you can overlap, and you get somewhere. So here you have to start with brighter, more talented people, because you don't get experience.
You don't get experience here.
Oh, you do to an extent, right? But not at the time. No one had done it before, right?
Right.
So it's very difficult to find experienced people, right?
But then how did you get over those hurdles?
It's training.
Training.
And learning from everywhere. As I have said on too many occasions, you learn from everywhere and you copy nobody.
You learn from everywhere,
but you copy nobody.
Okay. All right. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Because I've seen people taking something that works in one environment and assume it's going to work here. But the customers are different. The environment is different. So you have to deploy what you learn in a way that is relevant for the customers here, and what strategies you have in play to win here, right? And it also goes for management, right? You know, you take a management course from somewhere else. Some of the basics apply, but some things are very different.